A great week and a lot of BYU in the national news. People talking about BYU in their first year in the Big 12. It's been fantastic. And who better to bring to the show right now to talk about the BYU Cougars and college basketball than Noah Hartsock. It's our pleasure to welcome former BYU basketball star, the man who helped make NCAA tournament history the year he started alongside Jimmer Fredette. Let's say hello to our friend Noah Hartsock from Las Vegas. Noah, how are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, Dave is trying to make his way somewhere close to you. He's traveling with the baseball team. They were supposed to be there. But unlike you and unlike me, who covered Vegas for work for 17 years, and unlike Dave, who lived in Vegas, evidently the bus driver doesn't know all the shortcuts that you and I and Dave know.
There's some tricky roads down here.
Yeah.
Your way.
So he's caught in traffic. So you're stuck with me tonight, but that's okay. You and I have known each other a long time, and I'm so grateful that you would join the Wise Guys tonight and bring us your basketball expertise. As a former player, longtime high school coach, what is it about March and basketball that makes the world so much better?
You know, it is probably the most exciting time, you know, as a player or being around it, because it's just that energy you feel. It's that chance where you're putting, 64 teams against each other, and it's just one game, 40 minutes. If you could beat your opponent, you're moving on, you're advancing. And really, that's how you remember a lot of these teams is, hey, they went to the Sweet 16, they're Elite Eight, Final Four team, or they upset this. And even though you might have had a year, you might have been like 18-12, but you go to the Elite Eight, I mean, you remember it as a great team. And it's really these next couple of weeks that really define it.
And it's really only college basketball that has this. Like, college football's been missing out. I don't know why they haven't figured this out sooner. They're going to go to 12 teams this next year. But how have they not figured out that this couple of weeks just catches the excitement of the entire country? Work productivity goes down during March Madness, does it not?
I mean, there's nothing else to do. I mean, it's the excitement. I know with my group of friends, we'll probably take off the next couple weekends, not work as late, and try to catch as many games as possible. But it's just one of those where there's not much else in the sports world. I mean, NBA is still going through the regular season. Hockey's kind of winding down, but it really is for those couple weeks. It's just a focus where you could just watch games, have that excitement, especially here in Las Vegas, where it's just, becoming a sports capital of the world, where it draws a lot of people, and it's a lot of fun down here.
Yeah, we were just watching a Netflix special live yesterday with Nadal and Alcaraz, or Rafa and Alcaraz playing at the Mandalay, and now it's becoming the tennis center of the world, for Pete's sakes. You are really in the mecca of big time sports right now in Vegas. It's got to be fun being down there when all of this is going on.
It is really cool. I mean, when we got the Knights for the NHL, I mean, that place, everyone just turned up for it. They were excited for it. And their first year, I mean, they went to the Western Conference Finals, and nobody really expected much. And now it's developed. The Aces have just been dominating here, winning WNBA titles. We're hopefully we'll get the A's or some Major League Baseball team here, and then pretty soon I bet we'll get NBA, and it just keeps growing and going. So it's exciting times here in Vegas, and we got a lot of fun venues to be at.
That's good stuff. Hey, you played at an unbelievably high level at college basketball. You coached at the high school level. Which was harder to do, to play at that level or to try to teach these kids how to play at a high level with all of those years of coaching you did?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I was really blessed. We have two guys right now that are in the NBA that I got to coach.
Wow.
Centennial here in Las Vegas. We got Troy Brown. He was a McDonald's All-American, and he ended up playing in Oregon. He's been around a couple of NBA teams, got traded. He's with the Pistons now. And then Orlando Robinson, who's with the Miami Heat, backup big man for them, played at Fresno State. But, I mean, we had a wealth of talent. So we might have had a little advantage with some of the guys that we had, but I think definitely conveying to guys the work ethic and everything, it was hard. But I don't miss those practices with Coach Rose sometimes, those early season up and down the court. I miss playing the games, but yeah, practices, those were quite a trip sometimes.
Well, it's the last week of the regular season now for BYU. Speaking of BYU, their first Big 12 tournament coming up. You're on the first Cougar team to play in the WCC. So you experienced a bunch of firsts that year. Your first regular season in the WCC, your first WCC tournament. What are the challenges of navigating through all of those firsts in a new league?
It's just the newness of it all. New venues, new travel schedules, just getting used to it. When I played Mountain West, it was, hey, we play in, we know where Laramie, we know, Colorado Springs, we know all these different areas and what to expect. But then when we went to the West Coast, it was like, oh, wow, it's, February and it's 70 degrees in California instead of negative 20 in Laramie. And so just adjusting to those places. And I think it comes as an advantage and also a disadvantage because you're going to play these teams. They don't know how you play. They don't know your style. They don't really know your personnel as well. And so you kind of had advantage that ways. But at the same time, playing against teams, different style, different mentality. I remember playing St. Mary's for the first time at their place. And I tell you, that was probably one of the toughest opponents, most physical game I'd ever been a part of, and just getting used to that and playing that style. And I'm sure the Cougars, right now playing the Big 12, they're used to, this is a different style, different way they ref, different personalities out there. So kind of navigating those waters. So there are some advantages to that, and your opponents really don't know you, and also some disadvantages in the fact where it's like, hey, we got to adjust to this quick and on the fly to be successful.
Yeah, I have an interesting thought, and I want to run it by you. And I know you know me. You'll just say, Blaine, that's crazy. Or you'll say, yeah, you might be onto something. We did like the first 11 or 12 games for BYU, and every opposing coach said the same thing when we were interviewing them on shoot-around day. And they said, this is really difficult for us because we have to completely change our defense. BYU doesn't play offensively like anybody we play in this league. And so we have to come with something completely different. And it's a completely different scout. And so it's new for us. And they're a new team in the league, but not only are they new, but they don't do what anybody else does. With the way they play 5 out, especially when Khalifa's in the game, it really creates problems for us. But I got thinking about this. Is the thing I want to ask you, if this is a thing or not. Remember that old segment in David Letterman? Is this a thing? I want to know if this is a thing. When BYU now goes out, I'm watching them in the first half of these last 2 games, and TCU defensively does something to BYU they haven't done to anybody all season long. Does it affect BYU that these teams are designing a defense special for them? And so you noticed, Noah, when BYU was coming off of a ball screen, they were immediately doubling the guy with the ball every time, jumping him and extending it to the sideline. They don't do that normally. Does that make it equally difficult for BYU? Brand new defense. They're playing a team that they've seen. They think they've got them scouted, but their scout's not right because the team's doing something completely different. How do you manage that? And is that a thing?
I really do think it is. This is something I was thinking because, I grew up in Oklahoma, the Midwest, and Big 12 basketball was, what we watched and what we knew. And it was, you got 2 big guys that are going to screen and roll and set picks, and we're going to guard half court. We don't run as much. And it's true. BYU, you were watching film preparing, okay, this is the way, Iowa State's going to guard these ball screens. But then you get in the game and they have to adjust because, BYU got 5 guys out, 5 guys can shoot, 5 guys that can spread the floor. And it really is an adjustment that you have to make in game. And I think this is where, the coaching staff has done a really good job of preparing, their guys to get ready for, hey, they might blitz this ball screen. They might hedge it hard. Here's some options we can look at to make plays out of. And, it's one of those things that, I mentioned earlier, just those 2 different variations of, they've never seen BYU. This is a whole different style. And they got to adjust to it. And I think it's hard because they're so used to, you've got a Hunter Dickerson who's guarding the ball and used to guarding ball screens, but now, hey, I got to get out to the 5-man. He could put on the floor and he can shoot. And it just makes it harder for teams to defend.
Yeah, and BYU in that last game, I thought they did a magnificent job. I want to get your take on this. When they finally figured out what TCU was doing, and it threw them off a little bit, and they got down and they missed some shots, they played Foose way more minutes probably than they planned, and they said, listen, if they're going to do that, Foose, you come out and set the screen, and then you go ahead and you slip the screen, and let's go get the ball into the paint, and then we're going to create rotations, and they're going to have problems, and then we're going to get open threes. It was a masterful adjustment, and then TCU didn't adjust to the adjustment. And then the wheels came off, and BYU just ran them out. What's your thought on that strategy change? And can they continue to do this? Can they get behind in games and keep coming back?
I think so. It's a luxury I think they really have. You got a big man that can, the Khalifa who can step out, make incredible passes, knock down shots. And then, if we're going to double hard and we're going to stay home to shooters, you got Foose who can roll, who's got incredible hands, who can finish under the basket, who's strong underneath there, can hold his own. And so really it's, hey, you want to guard us and hedge hard? We're going to roll hard off the screen. We're going to look down low, finish down there. Or, hey, you're going to leave it. We're going to space. We're going to pop. It really is a luxury for BYU. And I think it's really served them well as they've kind of navigated these Big 12 waters and really found out a way, hey, we can win by playing different styles. We have different personnel for each defense that they throw at us. And, it's been really successful for them thus far.
Hey, what have you appreciated the most? I mean, this team goes out, they've got 4 wins against ranked opponents, 4 different ranked opponents. And, they play in the likes of Kansas and Texas and Iowa State and Baylor and San Diego State. Is there something you've appreciated the most about watching them this season?
I would say this team, I really appreciate the growth and grind they put in this summer. Because this was a team, finished 6th in the WCC last year with basically who they have now. They've come out, you could see the growth in the summer. A lot of these guys, hey, the first year, welcome to college basketball. It's difficult, it's hard. And the time and effort they put in this summer, a couple times, get seen over the summer, hey, they're working hard, they're putting in time and effort, we're working out extremely hard. And it's really paying dividends now because it's the same guys, but they've gotten smarter, they've gotten stronger, physical. They really focus on their craft and what they do really well. And that's the thing I just appreciate. Just any player in general in any sport is you go out there, get your lumps, get beat up that first year. But now look at them. They're playing with confidence. They're playing with skill. They're playing with a ton of effort and grit. I mean, watching Richie Saunders, that guy, he did not back down against any of those TCU defenders, just grabbing rebounds, getting every loose ball, just holding on to it. That's really impressive and fun to watch on this team.
We were loving watching. I had Dave Nixon on the show just before Noah, and we were talking some football because it's spring ball. And between us, we decided that Richie Saunders is the Taysom Hill of basketball. He'll just do whatever it takes. He'll do anything he needs to do to help his team win, which is really fun. You compare somebody to Taysom, that's saying something, right? So, hey, we've got former BYU star Noah Hartsock on the Wise Guys with us tonight. Noah played in 134 games between 2008 and 2012, 98 starts, and yes, that includes the Jimmer Mania time. And Noah, as I'm reintroducing you, I'm going to bring our Vegas buddy in, finally, who has made it on the team bus to his hotel and in a place. Dave McCann, we got you out there. Are you there with us?
I'm working on it.
There he is. There's Dave.
Can you hear me okay?
There he is. So,
this used to be my town, and now that it's your town, the traffic has got completely haywire.
Hey, I invite anybody who wants to come here. It goes crazy, man.
I love it.
What did I miss? I'm sorry, I just got on.
I was just going to ask Noah. We were just talking about his track record: 134 games, 98 starts, kind of in the middle of Jimmer Mania when he was there. I was going to ask him what it's like to have a front row seat for Jimmer Mania, but also to be a big-time starter, a big-time contributor, somebody that was expected to do a lot out there, all of that all at the same time. What was that time like for you at BYU?
I really didn't, to tell you the truth, I didn't expect to go to BYU. If I tell you, when I was getting recruited, I always thought I was going to go play at Utah. They came out, they were like,
what?
Hey, yes, that was my first thought. And then they actually pulled their scholarship away from me and gave it to Daniel Dean. I don't know if you remember that guy.
Yes.
At Salt Lake City. So their mistake, I'll tell you that. But it was an unbelievable run. I mean, you think about the players we had. I mean, obviously Jimmer, who had an incredible career, but I mean, we had Tyler Haws during that time, all-time leading scorer, Kyle Collinsworth, triple-double machine, Brandon Davies, NBA guy, Jonathan Tavinari, Jackson Emery. I mean, list goes on and on. We had such talented players during that time that I think that's what made it so fun and competitive is we had guys that really bought into the system, worked extremely hard. A great coaching staff too. I mean, during my time, think of, Dave Rose, obviously, but Dave Rice, who went to go on and be head coach at UNLV, Mark Pope was there, part of the staff, Tim Lacombe, Terry Nashif. I mean, just just great coaches as well during that time. And it was crazy. You think about watching Jimmer and you think about all the NIL money we've missed out on.
Oh, man.
That's the bummer. But, those experiences were great. And, watching him, I mean, he was a humble, good guy. Jimmer was. Just me and him, we actually were locker buddies next to each other. And so, nothing really changed with him in the way he played and the way he acted. So it was an incredible time in those 4 years.
Was there a moment where you're out there standing next to him and it hits you that this dude's a rock star and you're playing the electric guitar right next to him in the same band?
Well, a lot of times I was just begging for the ball. Just give me a shot. Just give me. No, I mean, there were just times when especially I remember at Utah game his senior year where I remember he had a half-court shot in halftime, and he shot it, and you're just looking. It's like, oh, that's going in. That's a regular shot. That's money right there. And I remember also the TCU game at TCU, and we probably had, I don't know, 75-80% of the fans there were for us, and we were leaving the game to get on the bus, and they had to escort us out. Police had to escort us out because they were probably, no kidding, 1,000, 2,000 people just waiting afterwards, just get pictures and autographs, going to hotels. People would know we'd come there, and they'd have basketballs out there, ask for autographs, and it was a wild time.
It's fun stuff. The question that we keep asking ourselves is the world ready for Jimmer Mania again? Because Jimmer's going to be in the Olympics this summer in Paris in the 3-on-3 competition. Is the world ready for this again?
I think they're going to be excited. I already made up my Jimmer Mania T-shirts to sell, so we're going to sell a bunch of those. But I'm excited for that, and it's pretty awesome to say go to Olympics, and I think they have a really good chance of winning the gold medal, and so that I think the world is ready for it, and kind of spark it again.
Hey, here's something a lot of people have forgotten about. The year after Jimmer graduated, your BYU team went 29-9 and went back to the NCAA tournament again, and you were an integral part about that. You would have fit in on this year's BYU team because you're a big that could go out and stretch out defenses and be a mismatch and knock shots down from the outside and go inside. People forget about that. What was that year like and going back to the NCAA tournament?
It was an interesting year because we started that year. We lost at Utah State. And we were just trying to kind of find our footing of, okay, who's going to kind of be the guys, what's going to happen here. Matt Carlino couldn't play for halfway through the year, so we're trying to figure out the point guard role. Like Brock Zylstra's playing it, and Anson Winder and Craig Cusick. And so we were just trying to find, I think, those first couple games, what our team is, what it's going to be like. But no, I think it kind of clicked. Kind of when I think middle of the season where we beat Virginia Tech, beat Gonzaga, and we're kind of on a roll here and figure that out. And it was a, fun time and a team that, just kind of gritted through it and made it happen. And, it was great going back to the tournament and competing in that.
What was the difference for you when you're Jimmer's teammate, he's the guy, the very next year, you're the guy, you're the leading scorer on the team. You had a good team there, and Brandon was back, but when they needed points, they went to you, and suddenly you were the man. What was it like to be that?
I don't know. I just tried not to miss shots because that was the thing. But no, it was a really committee. I think, me, Brandon, Charles, Matt, Carlin, we just trying to kind of figure out, okay, what's going to work. And it's funny, Terry Nashov, he was our offensive coach that year. And I remember times when I wouldn't shoot, he'd call plays for me and I wouldn't shoot. He'd call timeout. He'd sit me down. He'd be like, Noah, the play works a lot better when you just shoot the ball. So just shoot it. So I had to get that back figured out because I was so used to, hey, let me set a good screen here. Where's Jimmer at? Let's find him. And so it was kind of making that adjustment to it. But no, it's just, I think playing that many years and just having that confidence and realizing, it's time to step up. I think that's really just kind of where it all unfolded that last year.
Hey, Noah Hartsock is on the Wise Guys tonight. Noah averaged 16.8 points, 5 rebounds during his senior season, which included wins against Oregon, Baylor, Utah, and Gonzaga. And by the way, tonight on this show, Noah is the man. Is the entire Hartsock family on the chat? What in the world is going on right now? So here's the ones that I've noted, and I can only see what's on the screen, but Leslie's in the house. Daniel's in the house. Carter's in the house. James Lee's in the house. Jeremiah's in the house. Am I missing any Hartsocks out there? It's Les Namangat down in Santa Fe, Mexico. Our world famous artist just said, Hartsock's officially a nation. Is it officially a nation, the Hartsock Nation?
Yeah, they get on there. They're supportive, I'll tell you what. And I know my kids are watching too. They probably want to shout out.
So,
David Jade and Corey.
Hey, Hartsock Nation, we appreciate you bringing the attendance up tonight. Make sure you just join us every week. We're talking basketball and stuff with fun people every week. Even when Noah's not here, you guys are welcome to come back. So,
subscribe.
No, we wanted to talk a little bit about history with you. So, let's go Dateline, March 13th, 2012. It's a Tuesday night in Dayton, Ohio. BYU's playing in the first 4 against Iona, and the Gales take a 49-24 lead into halftime. People keep talking about these last 2 games. You guys are down 25. What's going on in that locker room at halftime, down 25?
I don't know if you want to know what's going on in that locker room.
Yeah, you don't have to say the words, but you can, describe the feeling.
It was one of those where, they shot out of their mind. They came in there, they were hitting everything. I think I remember it was almost 70% from field. And we had some good looks and just nothing falling. But, Coach Rose is just saying, guys, little by little, let's chip away. Let's go on a 6-2 run here. Let's go on a 7-3 run. And I think that's kind of where we started just clamping down. He just told us they're not going to shoot that well for this remainder of this game. And it was just one of those where we just started hitting shots and things were going our way. And it's the madness of March is, hey, this is our last chance. Let's go at it. And I remember, it's funny, during that game, I actually blew out my shoe, I think in the second half. Like Zion Williamson did a couple of years ago at Duke. He had to leave. Yeah. I stayed in the game, and I wanted to finish.
With a blown-out shoe?
With a blown-out shoe. I didn't realize it. My foot is sliding so much that I didn't realize. Then in timeout, I looked down, and I'm like, oh, I blew out half my shoe. And so we just put a little tape on it, went back out there, and finished the game.
Nuts.
Put some duct tape on it.
You didn't have an extra pair of shoes that they could give you? What's going on with BYU?
I tried to steal Nate Austin's, but his feet are size 18, so that didn't work for me.
Yeah, you don't boat, so you don't want to be in there.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So the blown shoe, which is something we didn't know about, but get in the second half and start playing defense. Iona was held scoreless from the 17-20 mark to the 8:04 mark, while you chipped away at things, which is incredible when you think about the kind of half they had in the first half. What was the feeling on the floor during this momentum shift, where you're still down by a bunch, but now they're not scoring at all?
And it's that good feeling where you can look up at the scoreboard and it's like, oh, we're only a couple possessions away. And this is a bad thought, but I thought in my mind, hey, we're down, I think it was 4 at one point. And I'm like, oh, Coach Rose, he'll be proud of our effort, even if we don't win.
Oh, wow.
But we're like, no, we got to win this game. The way things are going, the momentum. And I remember DeMarcus Harrison had an incredible second half where he hit some big shots, some big steals for us, and he made some great plays. But I remember, I think it was a three-pointer that put us up that I hit. It was swung around. I caught it. It was supposed to get a catch in the post and do something, but a double team came, so I kicked it out, and I spaced out the three, and you could see the defense rotating, and the ball was about to pass away. And I swear, it might have been Mike Hall or Terry Nashif, but they just screamed, we're going to win this game. And the ball came, caught it, shot went up, we made it, we get up one, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that was with 2:26 to go when you knocked that down to take the first lead in the game. And by the way, you had 17 in the second half. So you carried this team offensively in the second half. You go on to win 78-72. That is the greatest comeback when we talk about history in NCAA tournament history to advance to Thursday's first round against Marquette. What was that same locker room like after the game compared to what it was at halftime?
And that was some excitement there. I mean, it was before, people would bring cameras in there. You see all the water balls throwing up, but we were jumping. It's customary, Dave Rose, after every game. He runs in there. We all jump around and we go crazy after every game. And it was one of those where everyone is excited, ready to go. And it was one of those where it's like, man, that was amazing. We didn't know that was a record. It was actually, I think, Jim Nance, he called the game. He came out afterwards, and he was just standing outside the locker room. He's like, I didn't realize at the time, but that's the biggest comeback in NCAA history that you guys just performed. And it was like, man, that was awesome. That was incredible.
Noah Hartsock's on the Wise Guys tonight. We got 2 guys in Southern Nevada on Wise Guys tonight, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. So how often have you used that story as a motivational speech, whether to your former teams or to your youth group or the elders quorum? How much have you talked about that?
I use it for every church league basketball game that we're in to get these guys excited for the season. I think my record in church league is 39-1, so we're doing all right there here in Las Vegas. But it's funny, I'll mention that, or a lot of times people just bring it up to me as like, oh man, that was a great game. You guys were awesome. And I was like, yeah, but we should have been a 5 seed that year. It's too bad we were 13 or whatever we were. But yeah, a lot of people still bring that up, but it's a fun moment.
What's so meaningful to a team, Noah, or for a program for that matter, to not only reach the NCAA tournament, but to advance, to win in advance?
It is one of those just unbelievable experiences, because it's one of those things, as a kid, I watched every year this tournament. And once you get there, it's almost like a whole different atmosphere. It's a whole different season where you have everybody watching you. Everybody is focused on this game. Everybody's has some type of skin in this game and wants you to do well or not do well. And it's crazy. It's something that, every year we went to is you just get goosebumps. You get those kind of feelings. It's like, man, I'm playing in this. I'm a part of this. And especially when you win in advance, it's unbelievable, because you think, wow, we're only 32 teams left playing in this, or we're only 16 teams left in the whole country out of 360 plus teams. And everybody's watching you, talking about you. You're the lead subject on ESPN, on every newspaper and everything. So that's a true excitement. I think I'm excited for the Cougars this year, barring something crazy. I mean, I think they're locked for the NCAA tournament this year. It is an experience I think they're going to love and be excited to be a part of.
What do you believe is ahead for these guys in the coming weeks?
I think they've done a great job really just figuring out this Big 12 conference. You got to go to Iowa State, which is going to be very difficult. I think, are they still undefeated at home? I think Iowa State is.
Yes.
And that's going to be a tough place to play. But, they've been in all these games. There's really hasn't been a thing, maybe except Oklahoma State, where they've kind of been there. But I think it's taking care of business, really scouting, preparing for these games, and try to do your best to finish as well as you can. And then when you approach the NCAA tournament, it's almost like a clean slate, because you're going to face teams more often than not that they've just won their conference championship, or they're 26-8 in the season. They're really good. And you just got to find those little areas. Okay, this is where we can take away from this team and we can exploit them and just push our will on them to get that victory. And I think that's a big thing going into the season. Just really focus one game at a time, figure out, okay, what do we need to do here to meet this challenge and exceed it?
I think Blaine might have asked you this question while I was in the elevator, and I apologize if he has, but your group was the first to go down here to the WCC tournament. How awkward was it to show up to a 5-alarm conference tournament having never been here, and now this basketball team is about to go do the same thing at their first Big 12 tournament?
It's going to be new and exciting for them. You get there and it's just, I don't know the best way to explain it, but it's just a new circumstance, and hopefully you go in there prepared and ready to go. And I don't think it's going to be a big distraction, because they've been traveling new places all year already. So when they go here, it's just going to be another, hey, here's another venue. Let's prepare for it. Let's get ready for it. But it'll definitely be a different rocking environment for sure down there.
I was going to ask you for an update on your family, but they seem to all be on the show with us. So I've added, is it Emilia and Nate are on with us? And where's Leslie fall in this? Is Leslie, that's
my mom. Leslie's my mom.
Okay. So Leslie informed us. She said there is 38 of us. So I don't know if all 38 are on, but we really appreciate the Hartsocks bringing it tonight. That's pretty dang awesome.
You know what we didn't have? We didn't have 38 Danny Ainge family members
come
on the show.
I don't think Jimmer had. I don't even
Steve
think Whitney,
Young or Ty Detmer.
Whitney didn't even listen to Jimmer when he was on.
Yep. There you go.
We should have started with you, Noah. That's what we should have done.
I asked Barb if she heard Steve Young. No, she didn't even know he was on the show. But
I give kudos to my wife because I didn't tell my family I was going to be on this, but my wife, the smart woman she is, she's like, yes, I'm going to let your family know.
That's awesome. Hey, we love it. We love that the whole Hartsock family is in the house. And I do agree. It's Hartsock Nation because they're all over the place and they're all listening in. So I wanted to ask, give us a little update on you and your family. And also what you're doing with Kingdom and Company. It's a high-end remodel company, custom home builder. What's going on with the Hartsock family these days?
So yeah, we've been in Vegas now for almost 9 years. So yeah, me and Kendall have been here. We've been coaching. Kendall's had a lot more success. She's been a state runner-up and as her head coaching debut with her women's volleyball team. She also coaches an 18 under travel volleyball team. So she's been killing it there. We have 5 kids now. We got 1 boy who's 10 and then 4 girls after that. So we're a house full of a lot of kids, a lot of running around, not a lot of sleep. We just had our 5th child, another girl. So she is, I think, 6 weeks now. So we are being crazy, but loving life. It's been good.
Well, Noah, tonight we learned that you were going to go to the U, and and we're glad it worked out this way. Having played at BYU, been a part of those big moments, and then being the team leader yourself, what has that done for you here now, a bunch of years removed? How valuable of an experience has it been for you to have played at BYU?
It's really changed my life. I guess you could say just being at a place where I was around really good leaders, really good teammates, just a great community where I could learn and it's really propelled me in my life, especially meeting connections, meeting people here. The company I work for now, because I taught and coached for a while and got out of it, but I'm hoping to get back in coaching. Actually, it might sound crazy, but I kind of want to get back into it. I'm missing it too much. But it's one of my buddies who I first met here playing pickup basketball, and he started this company of developing high-end remodels, design, and so I joined him a couple of years ago, and it's been awesome doing that. You get to meet a lot of great people. I mean, we did remodels for some Las Vegas Raiders, some people in the UFC, and so you get to meet a lot of different people in this field, and it's been awesome to do that. But it's been a blessing for my life. And I tell you, I probably end up going to BYU because when I was walking on campus, and I'll tell you, BYU is my least favorite visit out of all the campus visits I did when I was getting.
Wait. How come? What happened?
Yes. Other places were more fun. I'll tell you that. We had more fun, did some more fun activities. But when I was walking just on campus, I had a strong impression. It's like, hey, you need to go to BYU. And they were just, I think Steve Cleveland and Dave Rose were switching. Dave Rose got the head coaching job. And so there was kind of, hey, is this going to be a great program? Utah was just coming off with Andrew Bogut and having a great year there. So, but I just had a strong impression, hey, you need to go BYU. And I think, rest is history. It turned out great.
So there's the lesson to be learned out of all of this. When you have strong impressions, we're supposed to listen to those, right? And then we act on those. And Noah's life's been unbelievably blessed. Hey, by the way, Noah, the Chicago Hartsocks are in the house too. Lindsay and her whole family are in the house too. So I don't know how many this is.
BYU great, Lindsay Hartsock.
That's right. So awesome stuff. So
this is a personal record of Hartsock.
I think it is. I think it's a personal record for any guest that have their own rooting section with all the same last name too. I think it's some type of a record. The show's been going for 2 years now, Noah, so it's pretty big.
Yeah, the challenge is next week, how many are going to be on here?
Max Hall. This raises the bar for Max Hall next week.
Yeah, Max is on next week. I'm going to challenge Max and tell him if he doesn't bring at least 38 with him, then he's just not doing his job. So we want all Hartsocks back next week. We have fun stuff to talk about. Come on all back with us every week if you want to. Or you can just listen to it on the week on a download it and go ride the bike or do whatever you want because it's available afterwards as well. So Well, no, we're going to hit you up with 5 questions that we do with all of our guests that come on for the first time just to get to know you a little bit. But before we do that, I want Noah to help us with the Cougar Board question of the week, Dave, because this, I think he can help us answer this a little bit better. So I've got it here. You're not familiar with, if you're not familiar with Cougar Board, it's the largest online community of BYU fans, thousands of posts daily. This question comes from Durandal, one of the inside subscribers. And here's the question. BYU has really struggled when they shoot poorly from 3-point range. 0-6 when they're below 32%. Will BYU need to stay hot from 3 in the NCAA tournament in order to win games? If they have a poor shooting night, what do they have to do to pull out a win?
All right. So the first part, yes, I think they got to shoot 35% or better to advance and make some noise in the tournament. It's their game. It's what their bread and butter is, and they have so many capable guys that can step up and knock down shots. So yeah, for them to advance, I think they really got to knock that down. If they have one of those off shooting nights, I think really it just comes down to defense transition, getting stops defensively, 1 rebound, no offensive rebounds, and getting the ball and push and finish in the lane. It's the team that I think they have capability of getting to the lane, drawing fouls. So if they're not hitting shots, make sure defensively we're getting stops defensively, 1 and out, going, attacking, make that defense guard on their heels and get to the line and really, just adjust your game plan as necessary.
One thing we saw.
Go ahead, Dave.
One thing we saw during the Texas game and the TCU game is when those shots weren't going, Foose came in and they just started going inside. Yeah. And Foose was the big guy in both those wins. You might have a little harder time in a tournament going up against those kind of teams to just take over that way. But at least they've experimented with a little bit of plan B.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you, do you remember what seeds you had the year in Jimmer's year when you guys advanced? What seed was that year? You had a higher seed, right?
Yeah, we were a 3 seed.
Yeah, see, I think that makes a huge difference. Right now, BYU's projected as a 5 seed. Now, your senior year, what seed that year? 13 seed that year.
I think we were a 13 seed, yeah.
It just makes it so much harder in that first round if you're not a single-digit seed and if you're not literally below 7. Right now, they're projected to split these last 2 games, go into the tournament. This is what people are projecting, is the 5th seed in the Big 12 tournament. Interestingly enough, they're also projected as a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. If they win both of these games this week, they have a really good shot, regardless of what happens in the tournament, the Big 12 tournament, on being a 4 seed. Does that make a big difference in your mind if they're a 4 or a 5 seed versus you guys having to go in and be a 13 seed?
If I think if you get one of those top 4 seeds, you just feel a little bit better because usually, hey, at 13 or above, not as strong, and it's kind of a good first matchup game. I mean, obviously we've seen 15, 16s, take down the top seeds. But I think you feel a little better because, hey, you get a 5 seed, you might be in 12 seed. It might be Villanova from the Big East, and you get a tough challenge right off the bat. So I think once you get to that second round, it's tough no matter what you face. And so it's, I could see BYU. I think the highest they can get is a 4. I don't know if they'll crack that 3 unless they win the Big 12 tournament or get to the finals of there. I think there's just a couple of teams ahead of them in that regard. But if they win out, do well, win 4 straight games here, I can see a 4 seed for sure.
Feels like a 5 is
reasonable.
Would be something to celebrate, especially if it gets them to Salt Lake. There seems to be so much to jump to get up to 4, but man, Leonardi's got him at a 5 today. 5 feels like, wouldn't you just take that and go to the bank?
If I was a doubter at the beginning of the year, I was thinking, okay, this team, if they can get 6 wins in the Big 12, I think that is a huge success for them. I mean, they've blown it out of the water this year.
You were not alone, Noah, with that. Lots of people thought that, and they have been an unbelievable pleasant surprise. Great job of this coaching staff, but also the tenacity that this team plays with has been really fun to watch as they have adjusted into this new league.
Great.
So 5 questions for Noah. Should we go with that, Dave?
Yeah. Now remember, Noah, you're going to be judged by all of your family members on this.
And you guys can do 5 questions with everybody to see what you know about each other. But you're not supposed to really think about these, no. You're just supposed to answer them really quickly, okay?
Okay.
So, your favorite sports movie?
Ooh, favorite sports movie. Ooh, I like Hoosiers a lot.
Hoosiers. That was Marie Osmond's, wasn't it, Dave? I think
Marie Osmond and a lot of other smart people picked Hoosiers.
I liked Hoosiers. Dave, is yours Hoosiers? Yeah, Dave's is Hoosiers too. So there you go. Your favorite singer or band?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people on fan would guess it. It's One Republic.
Oh yeah.
That is my jam. I've got 2 One Republic T-shirts. I think we've seen them numerous times. And
did you see him at Stadium of Fire a few years back?
I did.
Yeah,
I was the one standing, dancing, all crazy there.
Yeah, is that Niall guy? Is he from One Republic? Is the guy that's on The Voice? I don't know that. I know the songs, but I don't know who's in One Republic.
Oh, so Ryan Tedder's the lead singer. We named one of our daughters her middle name Ryan.
Oh, this is big time of affection for this band then.
No, let me tell you the story. So I was emceeing Stadium of Fire that year, and I had to go out and introduce the band. And my daughter's favorite band at the time was One Direction. And so in my head, it was, do not say One Direction, do not say One Direction. So I said One Republic as fast as I could just to get it out so I could clear my conscience of being so afraid I'm going to say One Direction.
That is a tough one. So, okay, here's question 3, Noah, and this is one we judge all people by. So just, choose wisely. Your favorite breakfast cereal?
I love Fruity Pebbles.
Nice. My wife actually makes a treat where she mixes Fruity Pebbles with some other type of sugar, maybe Karo syrup or something, I don't know, and she makes them into little like Rice Krispie treats out of Fruity Pebbles. Nothing better in the world.
I don't know if you can do that legally in Provo.
I could eat a whole pan of them. It's not good. It's not good. So I can respect Fruity Pebbles. Your favorite BYU moment, Noah?
Favorite BYU moment. I'd probably have to say when I met my wife for a study assignment in the library before she was my wife.
Oh.
How'd that go? What happened?
Yeah, turned out well. I think that might have been the night she kissed me on the cheek, so
it was a good moment. Wait, at the end of the study session, she kissed you?
Yeah.
How did that go down?
I was probably really smart and I was helping her on their assignment. She's like, hey, just a thank you kiss.
Wow. And that led to all of this.
Listen, we had $1 for every guy that dreamed of going to the library to study and end up getting kissed by somebody that he later marries, would have a lot of dollars. That's a living the dream scenario.
That is a dream. That's awesome.
Were you a basketball star at the time, so she knew what she was, she was out with Mr. Big Shot or what?
Well, I was a return missionary, didn't have much style. I don't think we played any games yet. So it was must have been my charms beforehand.
Basically what Noah's telling us is she was attracted to nerdy guys. That's what it was.
Nice job. Nice job, Noah.
Okay, so here's number 5 for you. Your favorite coaching moment.
That I coached?
Yeah, that you coached.
Oh. There's probably one. It was actually, I don't know, I got a lot, but we were in Utah. Okay, how about this one? I'll tell a different story. This one's good. This is a BYU story. So we're playing at San Francisco. I'm a grad assistant. We're in a timeout. It's a tense game. I had to pass some gas.
No.
It was one of those that it was horrible. And I'm not taking, because here's Coach Rose. He's getting our guys, intense moment, everything. And you can see all the other assistant coaches, Terry Nashif, Rob Ray. They're like, what? That is horrible. And I'm just like, I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing anything. Man, it was brutal. It was brutal.
That is not.
To be honest, I didn't see that coming. Blaine, did you see that story coming?
I did not see it coming. So at University of San Francisco, Dave and I have one of our favorite broadcast moments at the University of San Francisco. Remember when Rex was the head coach over there, Dave? Rex Walters, who was a former National Player of the Year at Kansas, right? Dave says to him, who do you have on this team that reminds you of you? And Rex looks right back at Dave, almost like, what are you talking about? He goes, I don't have anybody on this team that reminds me of me. I was the number one recruit in the country. If I could get me, we would win a lot more games. I don't get me here. And David, I just died. We're like, no coach has ever been that honest with us. Like, I cannot get anybody like me here. Pure honesty. David, I just have shook our heads ever since about that one.
Yeah, that was one for the ages.
Yeah.
Noah, you're one of our favorites. What's the score for Wednesday night?
It's going to be BYU 87, Iowa State 83.
Ooh, so BYU's going to shoot lights out like they did last time and make 13 threes. That's what you're saying.
And nobody's playing defense?
That's the best kind of basketball.
It is the best kind of basketball. No, we loved having you on. We sure appreciate it, and we loved having the entire Hartsock family from all over the country in the house with us tonight. It's the best. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, Dave, we got to see you at Sushi Bomb tonight.
Yeah, first of all, you'll never see me at a place called Sushi Bomb. Secondly, are we going to see all the Hartsocks down here for the baseball game tomorrow afternoon? It's going to be like 79 degrees.
Why not? Let's go.
Why not?
Is it over at UNLV's Park over? That's a nice place to play baseball. Yeah, you just go support the Cougs, Noah. Get over there.
Let's go.
There's a better chance of you and I running into each other at In-N-Out Burger than there ever will be at a place called Sushi Bomb there, Noah.
All right.
So thanks,
Hey,
Noah.
you're the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Hartsock family. We appreciate you guys.